Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. We are hanging in there. And we have moved to the end of the support box here, and we have even briefly broken the low from the 1st of Feb, yeah, which could have been a wave 1. Now this move up, so I did have the wave 4 here before, highlighting the idea that we could have this as a wave 1 and this here as the wave 2, highlighted to you this channel trendline support, which is now broken, but also we need to talk about that one. And what else did we talk about? Oh yeah, and we talked about this support box, which is based on the Fib retracements of that pump that we saw last week. Here on the 1st of February, basically, yeah, or this week for some of you. Now, this support area, which I didn't draw the Fibs very accurately now, but it did go all the way down to the 88.7% Fib, and even a little bit lower than that, based on I think the previous price move. Oops, just like that. And yeah, we even broke below that 22.9k level. So we made. Let's actually double check that. I think we made a lower low, which would technically invalidate this pattern. Yeah, you see it. This is a lower low. However, we are still holding above that swing low. So I can move the wave 4 here. Talked about that before. This could just be an ABC. And it's not ideal that we broke down. So I think we have to be more mindful now of a possible drop into that large wave 4 support area, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But for now, it hasn't broken that low from the 30th of January, and therefore it could still be holding, but it's getting increasingly unlikely. But you know what the market likes to do. Sometimes it just likes to pump out of nowhere. It has dropped out of the channel. Now that's a sign of weakness. Now, then again, I have to say the channel is not perfectly defined. The channel is defined because we have a fairly well-defined channel up here, I would say. You know, it's never perfect, but it's fairly well defined, and then, or a trend line, yeah, and then you do it, then you come up with a parallel trend line down here. Now this is now broken. You don't really have ideal touch points down here. You know, you can try to move it around. I don't like trend lines too much. I more like to use Fib supports. It's probably most accurate like this, yeah. And we had a fake out, and this is a break, and we could very well just be retesting this from below and will get rejected and come down in the end. So that's what we need to be watching. I can tell you it has certainly come down lower than it would be ideal in this move down. Because even if, let's see, if we start the wave 1 from here, which was the other possibility we talked about before, then it just about held the 78.6 Fib. Now it just about held. I think that's why I had the support area there, because this is the 78.6 Fib from this move. Oh yeah, exactly. That's why I did draw the support area like this, because it is the 78.6 Fib from this move, and this was the alternative low for the wave 4. A few people asked me, oh no, let's get to that in a minute. So obviously it's holding that support for now. Yeah, it's holding it. It hasn't broken it substantially, and it hasn't invalidated a wave 1. Therefore, the possibility still exists that it still will make its wave 3, even though, of course, it's currently being challenged, this scenario. A few people asked me that this looks so much like a 3-wave move to the upside, and therefore it couldn't be a wave 1. Now, that's not entirely true, because in a wave 5, which this one could be, you get often 3-wave structures, so that the wave 1 has 3 waves, the wave 2 has, the wave 3, the wave 4, and the wave 5, a so-called ending diagonal. So you don't need to look out for 5 waves in wave 1 if you're in a 5th wave. A few people, I think, saw some comments, are facing headwinds here and were getting a bit confused by this up and down. Now, again, that's exactly why I started to take some profits here a few days ago and told you about it, because this is now a channel or a range in which the market is facing headwinds. And I would not trade this aggressively. I mean, this is clearly not an impulsive structure. This is clearly corrective still. You have a lot of up and down. We have here a possible trade setup, yeah, and the support did so far hold. It did break it briefly, but you know, we had a few candles, but they didn't even confirm the break. So for now, support is holding. As you probably know if you've been following these videos, the 78.6 fib level should ideally not break, at least not substantially. And in theory, they could even go all the way down to the beginning of the wave 1. Only then it's really invalidated. That would be in this case 22.5k. But obviously it didn't get down that much anyway. But yeah, it's true. You know, if the 78.6 fib is breaking, then it's getting very unlikely that such a 1-2 move is working out. But for now, the 78.6 fib is holding. Did go a little bit below that, which is not ideal, and increases the likelihood if it will eventually fail. But of course, it could still move up a bit and, you know, move around. But, you know, we are in a range where I would certainly not be aggressive in trading this on the long side, because if we still get a pump, it might be sort of the last one. I did mention that very clearly. So yeah, you know, we are in a corrective pattern, and you will remember it from down here, this mess that we had in December, and how annoyed a lot of people were because it's so choppy, right? And I mentioned to you back then that if you are in such a choppy range, the Elliott waves, you can count this in different ways. Yeah, there is not only one count, but there's no point me showing you 10 different counts in this structure. Because as I said in the last video, if you have to put too much brain power into this to make it work, it doesn't give you an edge, and there's no point. And also, if you have too many scenarios, it might be a signal that, you know, you shouldn't trade every single wave. Just wait for the high probability setups, and the next high probability setup for me will be a drop into this larger wave 4 support area, which could come down to 20k, 20,000 US dollars, yeah. And I will refine that area if we have a confirmed top in place. Now we don't have it in place at the moment. So I can just show you again how this area is calculated. We base it on the height of the entire move off the low to the high, and then these fib levels. Ideally, if we are in a wave 4, I mean, I'm going to make that area now a bit smaller, because ideally this wave 4 goes down to the 38.2 fib level at least. The 23.6 would again just be too shallow in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, you can see that we basically reached this level already. So I want to clear 4, and this is the key support level that needs to hold all the way down to 20k. So it's between 21.2 to 20k. So that's sort of the area, and then we can still get a high probability wave 5 in the end to get clear 5 waves. But yeah, in this sort of structure, we just now, you know, it's moving in a tight range. And this might even develop into something like a rectangle pattern, which is not really moving in the channel anymore, or even something like an expanded channel or so, you know, expanding wedge. If it's going to become here something more like an expanding wedge, then this is quite a bearish move, yeah, because it's a bit like an expanding, not expanding, yeah, expanded ascending wedge, whatever. Because the normal wedges that are ascending, they obviously contract, and they are also quite bearish. So it will be interesting to see how this is now going to develop. I can only just repeat it because a lot of people, you know, try to count every little wave. There's no point. You know, I can show you here all sorts of counts here, but key is the pivot points, the thresholds, the support areas, and they are currently holding. So we just need to be watching and wait for that break of the support, and then I would just wait for the price to come back in a pullback. This is sort of for me the best way to do it at the moment. You know, there's no point trying to trade every little wave. You know, you can try to trade this channel, but I warned about that this is now getting more dangerous. That's also why I took some profits. We're getting possibly to the end of the range here. Yeah, this can still push a bit higher surely, but then a pullback will come at some point, and that will be the key point that will tell us, are we here in a wave 4 correction? Are we in a wave 2 correction? And can we end the bull market, the bear market? Or are we continuing with the bear market? So this will be a very decisive move when we pull back. And I also just need to say one thing. I had a couple of comments in the last video saying my outlook is too bullish. Oh gosh, I don't understand this. I mean, I'm the person who's been telling you for weeks that it's too early to confirm that the bear market low is in, right? So I don't understand this. So please don't think just because I'm showing you support areas, this is an absolute fallacy, and might come across like that, because, you know, a lot of people come into this space, watch the videos and think, you know, we are sort of able to, whatever, we've got a crystal ball here or something. I mean, if I'm showing you a support area, that's normally a trade setup, a possible setup that you can use to trade. You know, of course, you know, pullback trade, you know, you pull back into support, you can trade this if you like to, it's your choice. But of course, it's no guarantee that a support area will hold. I mean, nobody can give guarantees that support areas will hold, and therefore these are scenarios. When we come back into wave 4 support, we need to be watching if this area is holding, and then we can trade a wave 5 up. Or if it breaks, we are probably coming into wave 2 support, which is lower. If this breaks, then we continue with the bear market. That's as simple as that. You know, I'm not telling you here the bear market is over or the bear market is not over. That would be, again, that would be my personal opinion, and that's pointless for trading. Yeah, this doesn't give you any clear entries or exits. This is unprofessional, and I know a lot of people are doing that, but it's pointless, and that's why most people actually fail when trying to trade, because they trade based on what they think is going to happen, which is not how you should be trading. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful. And yeah, that's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.